TNA Against All Odds, 2008. This show is just a perfect representation of TNA in 2008. I mean, we are all over the place. We got some good wrestling here and there, but we also got like really dumb gimmicks, dumb stipulations, goofy storylines. Some of them don't even really like why? That's my question. Why? That's what this podcast could have just been. Against All Odds 2008. Why? All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. Like, that's what it could have been. But I unfortunately would like to delve deeper into this, maybe the most ridiculous timeline of wrestling to ever exist. We got street fights, we got titles on the line, we got things hanging from poles, we got stepbrothers penetrating each other with barbed wire. This show is all over the map. It's ridiculous. It's a whiplash of emotion and secretion. But that's pretty much what Daddy likes. So, lucky me and lucky you. So strap in. It's the Apron Bump Podcast.
It's the hardest. Talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what heart is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock this. Let's get started.
What's up, everybody? What the heck is up, everybody? Welcome to the Apron Bump Podcast. I am your host, the hardest part of the ring, Kyle. How is everybody doing today? We got a little TNA on our hands here. Total non-stop action against all odds. 2008. We're here in February of 2008. And man, we are just at the height of it, man. We are at the height of LOL TNA. Maybe not the height, but we're definitely getting up there. The roller coaster is chick. I can feel it. I feel it. We're approaching the apex of just like. Because here, look, that could be taken in like a negative connotation, and in a lot of ways it is. But like, I'll say this about TNA: there is no TV show in wrestling history has ever been more engaging than TNA Impact in this period, like 2008. Because look, it's not all good. A lot of it isn't. But there's just always stuff happening. There's always stakes to things. There's running storyline threads throughout the show. There's weird, like, every story has its own personality, which is something that really strikes me as something that's missing in wrestling at this present moment. Everything has personality to it. Sometimes there are people out there that suck. They have their own personality, but they suck. That's what TNA is. Like, at least, you know, you go from one match to the other, nothing really feels the same, at least in this time period. At least in this show in particular, that's for sure. I mean, we have street fights. We have a barbed wire massacre match. We have people hitting each other's wives. We got stepbrothers. We got daddy issues. We got who's aligning with who, people getting betrayed. We got women. We got men. We got tag teams. It's just, it's a potpourri of nonsense. And I'm excited to talk about it. So let's delve into it, shall we? But first, before we get into that, if that's the type of thing you like as well, maybe you're not too familiar with TNA, or maybe you love TNA and you would like to relive the history through the velvety tones of the hardest part of the ring. Well, I have good news for you. You can go to the link in the description where it says, if you want more TNA, click here. And that'll bring you to all of the chronological episodes that I've covered from TNA. Every single pay-per-view from their very first 3-hour pay-per-view in 2004, all the way to now, 2008. So that's a lot of content there. Binge away. It is a wacky time. I highly recommend it. Follow me at Apron Bump on all the social medias. Join the Discord. And you know what else you should join? You should join the train of people checking out the A Work in Progress podcast. My guest for this episode, Brent from the A Work in Progress podcast, returns to the show. A reoccurring character on the Apron Bump. One of my favorite guys to go to. Always a hoot with Brent. Like I said, go check out the A Work in Progress podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as YouTube and all that stuff. All of his links will be in the description. He does a lot of old school stuff. So if you like what I do, you'll enjoy what Brent does. He does, watch alongs, reviews, touches on the current product as well a little bit. But there's a lot of fun stuff, a lot of like early WWF, like earlier than my timeline. So if you need that itch scratched, go take his finger and dig his fingernails into your crevices. So do that. And without further ado, let's get into this bad boy, shall we? TNA Against All Odds 2008 with myself and Brent from the A Work in Progress podcast. Still shucking corn and that's about it, right?
Doing all the things that we do in Nebraska. Yeah, like shuck corn, milk cows, shit like that.
Do you actually live on a farm?
No, I've never chucked corn in my life. If you asked me to milk a cow, I wouldn't know how. No, I live in the city, and I've never. If you put me out to do farm work, I would be the worst because I would be a big pussy by the end of the day. I wouldn't be able to do it. No, nowhere near a farm for me.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know. First of all, I don't even really know what shucking means, to be honest.
Me neither.
Milking a cow. I mean, if you just put me out on a farm with cows and you're like, "Hey, milk this," I would just like jerk it off. Like, is that not what milking cows are?
I mean, I guess it depends on who you're talking to and if you're in Tijuana or not. I'm pretty sure that's how you do. That's how you milk a cow in Tijuana.
Hola, me llamo cow. Milk me. You know, we've all been there, right?
At least once.
Yeah. Never again.
Yeah, no, I've never. I don't know what chucking corn is either. I don't know what that means either. No idea.
You know what? Because I don't want to just leave the audience on a cliff note. I guess we'll use this. I don't know. What does shuck mean? You can shuck clams. Is it chuck or shuck? What does shuck corn mean?
You got me on that one too. I don't know. See.
All right, here, get a load of this. Shucking corn means removing the outer green leafy husk and the inner silky threads from an ear of raw corn to expose the edible. So it's just taking off the green shit.
Okay, so we've all done this because you've eaten corn on the cob, right? That you've got the store and you pulled the shit off. So we've all shucked.
Right. I stays shucking corn. So I think we're farmers is what we've learned here today.
Me. I guess I didn't think I was a farmer, but I am. We all are. Congratulations.
Yeah, there's a lot of farms in Greensville, South Carolina. But speaking of which, that is where this event hails from. TNA Against All Odds 2008, not 2007, like I said originally.
I don't even think I did. I don't even think I watched. It was something else. It was like Bound for Glory or something.
Oh. So no, because Fat Oily Guy was on Against All Odds, unless he was on 2 shows, which he might have been.
So this one started out with, it was like the Dudley Boys versus LAX in a Little Italy street fight. Right, with like the tables and like the. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I take a lot of edibles. Who fucking knows what I watch? It could have been anything. Who knows at this point?
Who knows if you're even watching wrestling? To be honest, you could have just been watching Sopranos.
That's right. Who knows? It doesn't matter.
Well, I should have been on edibles during this show, man, because Against All Odds 08, it was, I don't even know if I could say bad. It's just a weird one. I don't know. It's a very TNA show. First of all, have you watched TNA before?
So not too much. I've watched, me and the mayor, my co-host for our show, I've watched like the first few weekly pay-per-views because most of that's god awful when they had like the Johnsons and and all that stuff. Yeah, but no, not really at all. I haven't watched much TNA at all.
It's a fever dream, dude. I mean, it's like a crazy loaded roster, but in a just ridiculous atmosphere. Like it's a wild time. I guess just initial thoughts. I mean, like we're not in the Impact Zone. Well, I guess for one match we are, but it's pretty much all the TNA.
The barbed wire matches in the Impact Zone.
That's correct. Yes, Orlando, which we'll touch on that when we get there. But yeah, just initial thoughts on the vibes, the excited rings, the characters, the matches, or overall thoughts on this show.
So the crowd was really into it. They were into almost every single match. And sometimes in wrestling, that's like, kind of like half the battle is if you get the crowd into it, then it makes it seem like it's a little better than it is. Like you said, I wouldn't say it was bad, but I certainly wouldn't say that it was good either. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of in the middle.
Yeah, honestly, like I don't know if there's a match on here that I would necessarily like recommend to any, maybe the main event, but for other reasons, I wouldn't really recommend it, but we'll get there, I guess.
My favorite thing
man.
about the show is not even a match, but we'll talk about it when we get to it.
Ooh, can I have a hint?
Yeah, it has to do with Kurt Angle. That's all I'll say.
Okay, his socks.
Yeah. Well, just all their backstage stuff is pretty damn funny to me. I thought it was hilarious.
Dude, Kurt is look, he's more pill than man at this point, but gosh darn it, is he hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
He can still go in the ring too, but we'll get there. But ultimately, so we start out here. So we're in Greensville, South Carolina. So again, we are venturing out of the impact zone, which is where 99% of their shows come from. So we got a special vibe here. I mean, it's a pretty big crowd. I don't know what the exact attendance was, but it was a pretty big show out for TNA. We got the National Guard out there. We got the national anthem. And of course, the Guard is accompanied by Road Dogg and his dad, Bullet Bob Armstrong, who I guess both are former Marines, right?
Yeah. So I knew that Road Dogg had spent some time in the Marines, but I didn't know about his father. But he looks like a guy who was in the Marines, so it makes sense.
I believe it.
Or they could be totally going the whole Sergeant Slaughter route and not being in the military at all.
Oh, was Sergeant Slaughter not in the military?
No, he was never in the military. I don't know if wrestling fans know this, and your podcast might get bombarded with a bunch of comments, but no, Sergeant Slaughter was never in the military ever. Sorry to break kayfabe for you, but he wasn't.
I guess I'll be honest. I don't think about Sergeant Slaughter that often, so maybe that's just why I haven't really delved into.
Well, I'm a little older than you, so he's kind of from my era, so I think about him every now and again.
My condolences. Hey, he's not a Sergeant Slaughter fan over there, that's for sure.
Yeah, my dog was pissed about that, or he is, and said he called me a liar, one or the other.
Right. He's still upset about WrestleMania 7. Yeah.
Yep, that's the one.
Well, speaking about WrestleMania 7, no one in this match was there. I don't think. Maybe Bullet Bob was. I don't know. He could have been, because he is.
I doubt it.
67 years old here. So we got the tag team titles on the line. The champions, AJ Styles and Tomko, versus the team of BG James, aka Road Dogg, and his father, Bullet Bob Armstrong. So the story here, there's a lot of hullabaloo with AJ and Tomko, which we can get into, but like BG James, he won a Feast or Fired briefcase, which they still do to this day. And he won a tag team title shot with a partner of his choosing. Now his boy, Kip James, is there, Billy Gunn, but BG's like, I don't know if I'm gonna go with you, man. I got to mull over my options. And then Billy Gunn's like, what the hell? We've been partners ago. You know, the whole thing. And then BG's like, well, hey, I kind of want to team with my dad. And then Billy Gunn's like, oh, all right. So that's the arc that we've seen in the past few weeks.
Okay.
Very, very compelling stuff here. So we got father and son teaming up against AJ and Tomko. A silly match here. I mean, Bullet Bob's, again, he's 67 years old and he looks even older, I would say. But it was fun. What'd you think about this?
It wasn't the way I thought the pay-per-view was going to start. I certainly didn't see Road Dogg teaming with this 67-year-old father to battle the torn AJ Styles and Tyson Tomko. Well, I don't know. It was a fine match. It's not like it was a match that you would expect if one of the guys in the match was 67 years old. You know what I mean?
You seeing Tomko sell for Bob Armstrong here, it was like, all right, what are we doing? But that's TNA for you. You kind of just got to be like, it's TNA. It's silliness.
I mean, really, that's every wrestling show, because anytime a legend comes back, you got guys who get beat up by old men, and you're like, why am I supposed to believe that any of these guys are tough when they're getting beat up by 70-year-olds? Because
they're grizzled and they got the wisdom. They're Brent.
They got that old man strength, apparently, very old man strength.
And he's a Marine. I don't know if you heard, but he was a Marine.
I did hear that once. I don't know where, but I did hear it.
Well, it might have been from Tomko, because before the match starts, so there's this whole, so AJ and Tomko, just to give like the quick cliff notes, both these guys were a part of Christian's faction, and then they both turned on Christian, but then Tomko at some point was like, I don't want to be a part of a faction anymore. I just want to be on my own. and then him and Christian kind of made up on Impact the week before. So now we got AJ and Tomko kind of have different, philosophies on who they want to align with or who not to align with. Tomko wants AJ to just keep his head in the game, and AJ's like, "Hey, Tomko, why are you siding with Christian?" And then Tomko's like, "Come on, we're facing Marines." AJ is like, "All right." That's really this match is just like a backdrop to the soap opera of AJ and Tomko, which is kind of a thread throughout the show. So that's really the only purpose this match serves, and just to have like a fun little Road Dogg got the team with his dad. There was really not much more to it than this.
I was almost half expecting Billy Gunn to turn on him. I know that they do feud in TNA at one point, but I think it was before 2008. But like for some reason, when Billy Gunn comes out there and like helping to the back, I just felt like he was going to turn on them, but it did never happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I was with you. I was kind of hoping it would, but no, we have of course. I do kind of like the finish though, because of course Bob he's getting beat up most of this match, because as he should. But then BG gets the hot tag, pump handle drop onto AJ for a 2 count. But then later in the match, AJ with a springboard drop kick to the knee of BG James, and that just like immediately like makes him crumple to the mat. He tries to get back up, but he can't. And then AJ and Tomko were like, "Oh, well, just he's crippled. Well, I just finish him off." So they hit their double team magic killer move, their finishing move for the win. So it was kind of like an abrupt finish, but I kind of like that, how they're kind of just playing on the injury of BG here and kind of made it feel organic. So I didn't mind the finish though, this match.
Like I said, I mean, better than I thought it was going to be. I mean, it wasn't obviously it wasn't going to be the best match ever, but I mean, you got somebody 67 in there that did a pretty good job. And yeah, a good finish it's a little bit different than what you normally see. So yeah.
What are your thoughts on Tomko, just in general? I don't know if I like him. I think he might be good, but maybe he's not. I don't know.
So I never really. He's not bad in the ring. I mean, he's a powerful guy, but like as far as having any sort of character or anything that he says never seemed believable to me. It felt like it was all being forced. Even when this thing he did with AJ before they came out here, well, they're facing Marines. It's just a bit ridiculous. So. Wow, good in the ring. I think he's good as like a guy in the background that doesn't speak. You know what I'm saying? He was good with Christian in WWE because he didn't really speak a lot, so that's probably best for him.
Yeah, he's a perfect bodyguard. He was a shoot bodyguard for, do you know what band?
The Dave Matthews Band.
What? No.
I don't know.
Limp Bizkit.
You know what? That makes way more sense than what I said.
Right?
So, yeah.
It's like, this guy was born to be a bodyguard for Limp Bizkit. So
yeah, he has Limp Bizkit written all over him.
But speaking of biscuits, we got a couple biscuits backstage here. We're back in the Angle locker room, I guess. Karen Angle, Kurt Angle, JB, the announcer who's kind of ingratiated himself with the family here. Karen, she's not too happy with Kurt because, all Kurt cares about is his darn title and who he's aligned with, who he's not aligned with. There's just a lot of drama, and Karen's had enough. So, and then she was like, "What was the last time we did anything romantic?" And it's like, I'm watching all of this. It's a lot of yelling and screaming. I'm wondering where in the timeline this is of them actually getting divorced.
I literally have in my notes here. It says, we Kurt and Karen Angle screaming at each other, which is funny to me. Do you think this is what led to her marrying Jeff Jarrett?
You know what? I meant to look this up earlier. I'm gonna look it up now. When did Kurt and Karen Angle get divorced? What's your guess?
This looked like something from fucking Jerry Springer, because literally everything that we're saying that they said, they didn't say it. They screamed it at each other, like loud yelling. It was like bad acting on a soap opera, but I loved it. I thought it was hilarious.
And it was just like for no reason too, which we'll touch on like how it culminates, I guess. But man, so this show is February of 2008. They get divorced in October of 2008.
So it's a coming.
So they at least don't like each other for sure. Right?
Yeah. I'm sure the cracks have shown way before now.
Method acting. That is something. Because Kurt's like, hey, why don't you go to the concession stand and get some My Dolls? Like, Jesus.
I mean, you've been to a lot of wrestling shows. They have Midol at the concession stands.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't know if I've ever looked for it on the menu, so maybe I've just overlooked it.
You know what they should sell for people at wrestling shows is deodorant. They should really have that on sale. Actually, they should just give it out for free, so some people need it.
They should have this like a bathroom attendant or something, just handing out sticks.
Sir,
it's a great call,
sir. You can afford $1,000 wrestling tickets. You can afford deodorant. Come on.
My goodness. Well, more on that later, I guess. Just everybody's on the edge of their seat, I'm sure.
Stay tuned.
But the broads keep on coming. We got Tracy Brooks versus Peyton Banks. What's your favorite Peyton Banks match?
I mean, goddamn, pal. I think it's this one here because I've never seen another one. I've never heard of a Peyton Banks until tonight. I heard of Sasha Banks and I heard of Peyton Royce, but I've never heard of Peyton Banks.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar. I mean, I looked her like cage match profile up. I didn't really recognize any of her other aliases, and so I don't know if she really had a run here. And judging by that, I mean, this wasn't like I guess just a quick overview of the story here. So Tracy Brooks, she was with Robert Roode for a couple of years, but she's been dealing with a lot of abuse. You know how it be, over the past few months, years even, and eventually, and she's had enough. So she slapped him. She broke up with him, I guess. But Robert Roode has found himself a replacement CEO of his business, and that is Peyton Banks, and that's basically where we're here. Do you know what CEO stands for there, Brent?
Chief Executive Officer, right? Or is it something different here?
Chief Executive Offender.
Wow. I mean, I don't know if that's really something you want to be known for, is it?
I guess it's because she has big old milkers on her. I don't know. Is that offensive? I guess.
Well, didn't they say something? Because I remember something like in the video package. And I will say, like, some of the video packages were corny, but they did a good job in the video packages. So, like, if you hadn't watched, the weekly show leading up to this to know what was going on, it did a good job of like reviewing the feud, so at least you did sort of know what was going on. They said that Peyton Banks had been like stalking Tracy Brooks or something.
Yes.
So maybe maybe they called her the offender because she's a stalker. I don't know.
Yeah, well, Tracy was the offender initially.
Oh, okay. I get it now. Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of plates in the area you got to juggle. I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the past like couple months, like every Robert Roode match, like Tracy would be with him, but then it would just cut to like in the crowd, so like in the back, like Sting, basically, like Peyton Banks just in the what do you call it? The like the cat
rafters.
Rafters.
Yeah, like, the catwalk.
Cat nest? What the fuck is a cat nest?
Well, it's where there's a bunch of cats.
A nest of cats, of course. Yes.
Yes.
But yeah, Peyton's been in the rafters just watching, plotting her move, and now she's
like Sting.
When I saw Peyton Banks, I'm like, oh, this is the second coming of Sting, basically.
Without the face paint.
Right. That's all she was missing, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was it. This felt like a 2008 Diva match, which is like kind of the time we're in. We're just at such a different standard here in 2026 where we're recording. But I don't know. I think this was kind of inoffensive, but also I could have done without it. What did you think about this?
It certainly wasn't like offensive or anything because they like didn't rip each other with their. Well, they didn't. Maybe they did try to rip each other's clothes off. I don't remember, but I will say that they did work. Like it was a bit more physical than what you would have seen in a Divas match in 2008, but it also was very eerie of a 2008 Divas match. But like you said, that's where wrestling was at for women at this point. And so, I mean,
yeah,
not the worst match I've ever seen, but definitely if I never had to watch it again, that'd be okay too.
You're not going to delve into the Peyton Banks archive?
No, I like to watch bad wrestling on my show, but I don't think the origin of Peyton Banks is going to be a thing we're going to do. So no.
Well, I wouldn't rule it out. I mean, maybe just pin it, come back to it later.
Yeah, you know what? We'll put a pin in it. That's a good idea. Yeah.
That could be a whole season. You know what I mean?
It could be. That's true. I mean, I've done seasons of weirder things. So
Yeah, just a thought. But yeah, ultimately, it's kind of a whatever match. And then out of nowhere, Peyton goes shoulder first into the corner post. Tracy rolls her up for the win. So there was actually some pretty good like brawling on the outside. To your point, it was kind of hard hitting at some points. So I didn't mind it. But I don't think anything really comes of Peyton Banks and Tracy. I think Tracy Brooks actually just went into the TNA Hall of Fame. So
she's married to her and Kazarian are married, correct?
I believe so. Yes. So shout out Tracy, I guess, and shout out Peyton if you're still alive.
Yeah, if you're out there.
Yeah, I was gonna research her, but I don't really feel like it.
Hopefully, she's no longer an offender. I hope.
God damn it! You know what? Now I have to. Peyton Banks wrestler.
Let's just hope you don't find out that she did porn, because that's probably what it's going to be.
Can I tell you what? I'm pretty sure I heard somebody told me that there's a porn star with the name Peyton Banks. But it's not her.
Somebody told you, huh?
Well, I just talked to everybody about Against All Odds 2008, and eventually it comes up.
You're at Starbucks getting a coffee. Hey, what did you think of TNA? 2008. What the fuck are you talking about? Get away from me.
All right. She wrestled for WrestleLicious for a couple of years.
Wow.
As the name Felony. That's pretty funny. Just Felony. That's actually kind of cool. I like that.
She went from the offender to felony.
This is the beginning of an arc. You know what? Maybe the arc is something that you should follow and document.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I mean, she had a decent little career here. She's still around. She wrestled a little Ring of Honor 2017. I think she's kind of retired at this point, it looks like. But
well, good for her.
Dated Nick Mondo. Wait, that's not who is Nick? I'm thinking of Spirit Squad. That's Mike Mondo.
Yeah, Mike Mondo. I don't know Mick Mondo. That is a hell of a jobber name, though, Mick Mondo.
Yeah, not bad. Not you.
From San Diego, California, Mick Mondo. Yeah.
What's your favorite jobber name?
Oh man,
I know you have a lot to pick from. Maybe like three that you like.
Mike Fever is one that I really like. There's a guy in the WCW Worldwide that we watched a couple of years ago that was named Mike Fever, so that's one of my favorite. He also looked like a man who had a disease, so it was a good gimmick for it.
Well, that makes a lot of sense then.
Yeah. But my favorite jobber ever is Jumpin' Joey Maggs. He's my favorite.
Well, that goes without saying. I mean, that should be everybody's.
And then Mario Mancini, and probably everybody loves Barry Horowitz, so he'd be number 3. There you go. Top 3 jobbers.
Classic. If I ever need any knowledge about jobbers, you're the guy I go to. So
give me a call. I'm the one.
But no jobbers in this next match. Well, I guess one because they lose, but Feaster Fired briefcase match. Petey Williams versus Scott Steiner. My goodness. If anybody's familiar with that promo, which we all are, the Sacrifice Scott Steiner math promo, where we're just about there. We are working our way. We're putting the puzzle pieces together for that era of Scott Steiner. That's really my main takeaway from this. All right, here's the convoluted backstory. I don't know if you captured this from the video package before, or if they even showed one.
They did, yeah. It was this one again, like corny, but did a good job of telling me what was going on.
Well, actually, let's see if it articulated the story to you. What do you think the story going into this was?
So basically, they had the 2 briefcases or whatever, and didn't you say that BG James won these briefcases or something?
Yes, and these 2 gentlemen here both won 2 other briefcases.
Well, that's not convoluted, but yeah. So, and then there's like one that gets a TNA championship, and then one that gets fired.
Yeah, so so there was 4 briefcases, right? There's 4 poles. Each pole has a briefcase on it, and it's a match of like, I don't know, like 10 people or whatever.
Who's booking this at this time? I gotta stop you just one second. Who's booking this shit?
you know who's booking this shit, Al.
Bro, is it bro? It is, isn't it?
Pretty sure it's bro. But dude, so that there's 4. You need like a whiteboard to keep track of. So if there's 4 briefcases. It was BG James, And then Petey Williams, Scott Steiner, and Low Key won the fourth one. Low Key got challenged for his briefcase by Christopher Daniels. Christopher Daniels beat him, took his briefcase, but that briefcase, lo and behold, ended up being the fired briefcase. So they fired Christopher Daniels. So he's out of there. Then among the other three, you got, what did we just talk about? The BG James we just talked about. And then Petey Williams ended up with the world. No, I'm sorry. We're not even there yet. Petey Williams, there was like a four-way of the four guys that won their briefcases before they revealed what they were. And whoever won that four-way got to trade briefcases with somebody, even though they didn't know which one was. Like, what the fuck? So Scott Steiner wins, trades with Petey. But here's the thing. This means what ended up happening. Scott Steiner ended up with the X Division Championship briefcase. Petey Williams with the world title championship shot. So if Scott didn't trade, he would have been world champion. So now he's pissed because he's like, I'm not a vanilla midget. I'm not a flipper, a flopper. But then Jim Cornette's like, no. The X Division's great. It's not about weight limits. It's about no limits. It doesn't mean you don't have to be a little guy to be in that division. X Division's about being the best. It's about competition. And then Scott Steiner's like,
sorry.
And Scott Steiner's like, oh, it means you're the best if you're the X Division champion? Well, you know what? I think I will take it then. That's all it takes for him to align with that. And then,
well,
it's not the smartest bulb in the crayon box.
I was going to say, he's not the smartest guy.
But then all this, and then there's conflict, and Petey and Scott are like, no, that's my briefcase. No, that's my briefcase. So like, Hip Pal does is, and we're just going to put both briefcases on the line in a double briefcase match where I guess winner take all, I guess, between Petey Williams and Scott Steiner. So that's the whole convoluted story. Oh, by the way, and another thing, which we'll talk about later, the X Division itself is in danger because if a certain team wins later in the night, then there is no X Division, which would cause the X Division briefcase to be worthless. So there's just so many layers.
So none of this matters.
But none of it matters ultimately.
That sounds like a strange game of Deal or No Deal. That's what that sounds like. What are we doing?
Dude, this is peak 2008. This has got to be peak Deal or No Deal time. You got to know, like, between Money in the Bank and Deal or No Deal, they're like, let's put them together.
We gotta get a bunch of briefcases in here.
Oh man, and like the ceremony on Impact where they like slowly reveal each briefcase is just straight up Deal or No Deal. Is hilarious. Wow. But we're here. Petey Williams, Scott Steiner. Visually, it's an awkward looking matchup, but I didn't hate it. What would you think about this one?
No, I agree. I mean, it felt like a heel versus heel match, so it's like you don't know who you're supposed to go for. And on the outside of it, when you look at it, because Petey Williams is like much smaller than Scott Steiner, and so you figure it might just be a squash match. But no, it was a really good back and forth. Certainly the best match on the show thus far, but that's not saying a whole lot. But yeah, no, I thought it was good. I was really hoping that we would get to see Scott Steiner take a Canadian Destroyer because I would find that to be very hilarious.
Do you think that was close to him?
Well, I figure like with Scott Steiner's one of those guys you try to use like the Jedi mind trick on him. Like you're gonna do a Canadian Destroyer. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. All right, I'll do it. So I figured maybe I just do it. So
just shake some keys in front of him, like, hey, how about yes?
Exactly. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty good match.
Yeah, and Petey's copying Steiner all the way like through his entrance, and before the match they had an interview with Scott Hudson for some reason, and Scott's like, Petey, if you copy me in this match, I got a surprise for you. So my thought was that Petey was going to copy him, and then Scott Steiner was going to do a Canadian Destroyer, which it's probably more of a realistic premise. I'm mad that we didn't get that though. We did not get that. Yeah, not a bad match. I mean, Scott, they do like the strength for strength. Obviously, Scott's the bigger guy, so they get that message across. But Petey has his speed and his kicks and like the springboard lung blowers and crossbodies. There's one point where so Scott takes both briefcases and he wedges a briefcase in opposite corners of the ring, like in between the second and third ropes. I guess with the idea to throw Petey into the briefcase, but then the ref's like, no, this is not a no disqualification match. So he doesn't, but then Petey throws Scott into the other one, which I guess is legal because he didn't bring it into the equation.
Yeah.
But then later, Steiner low blows Petey right in front of the ref. But then the ref, did you catch the ref? He was like convenient, like, hey, there's a briefcase wedge in those ropes.
Yeah, I didn't see that. Because Mike today's like, oh, the referee didn't see any of that. And I was like, yeah, like anybody enforcing the fucking rules here.
There's some sensational stuff here. But the finish. A lady comes out. I forget what her name is. It is a large African-American woman. Do you remember what her name is? Or I don't know if you ever knew what her name was.
No, I don't remember. She looked taller than Lash Legend. Let's just say that.
Yeah, she was almost like a deflated Jade Cargill in a lot of ways, is what I saw here. But she was a tall lady, but she was like flexing, but I don't know, maybe in 2008, that was a muscular looking lady, but not in 26 lenses. But then Scott Steiner hits he capitalizes on the distraction, hits Petey with a last ride, ? Looked pretty sick though.
I mean, that was certainly a last ride, but yeah, he did a really good job of it. He definitely got some height on it.
And he gets the win here. So with the help of his, I guess Mike TNA says one of his freaks, which
obviously,
I guess. So yeah, solid stuff here. You know, I guess now Scott has both briefcases, and we're off to Sacrifice. That means trouble for you, Samoa Joe. You know what I'm saying? So
is that the next show?
No, I think it's like a few shows from now.
Oh, okay.
I think, but we're getting there. I'm happy to be on the road to Sacrifice.
See, sometimes people only do podcasts for certain reasons. Like, you've only been doing this for this long just so you could get to that episode with that promo, right? And I only still do my podcast so that everybody will know that Ricky Steamboat's real name is Richard Blood, and I like to call him Dick Blood. So there you go. Ricky Steamboat, greatest babyface of all time. His name is Dick Blood.
Dick Blood. I mean, great googly moogly, man. Well, speaking of Dick Blood, we got Kurt Angle backstage, who's got to be pissing blood at this point. He's back there with Jeremy Borash. And, well, actually, no, it just cuts to Jeremy Borash, who's like sitting on a couch, running down the show. Oh, we've seen some great action tonight, and we still got this match and this match coming up. And then it's like slowly pans over to Kurt Angle. Hey, quit being an announcer. You got to help me. Which, I guess he needs help because, you know, Karen, of course, where we left off previously, Karen was yelling at Kurt, wasn't romantic with her. She's had enough. She stormed out. Kurt needs help. And who better to get help from than Jeremy Borash? And which is very convenient because apparently Jeremy Borash has a book out. Do you remember what the title of this book was called?
I don't remember, but it was like so many ways. Jeremy Borash tells you so many ways how to get the babes or something like that.
It is JB's Guide to Banging the Broads.
That's way better than what I thought it was.
I mean, both are great. Maybe that's the sequel you're thinking of.
Probably.
Second edition. And then so JB's like, he's giving him advice or whatnot. And then at some point he's like, why don't you like whisper something nice in her ear? And he does it to Kurt. And I don't know if you could hear it, but I'm pretty sure he whispered into Kurt's ear, I want to suck on your pussy.
I mean, I can't confirm that.
Maybe I'll throw it in after the fact. Roll the tape and pump up the volume. What did JB say? I think it's, I want to suck on your pussy.
And maybe whisper sweet nothings in her ear, you know, maybe like, I want to suck your pussy. I mean, something real nice.
What'd you just say, you perv?
Nope.
I mean, if you really want to woo a lady, that's how you do it. I'm sure that's in the book, so he probably did say that.
Right. I mean, right out the gate, that should be your opening line.
Absolutely, pal.
Suck on your pussy. But JB's like, hey, I just had an idea. This Thursday on Impact, it's Valentine's Day. You and Karen can renew your vows. So that's where we leave off here. but gives Kurt a good idea. Maybe Kurt can save his marriage after all. More on that later, folks. More on that later. But before that, we got the drinking championship or drinking series championship, whatever it's called, on the line here. James Storm versus Eric Young. Thoughts, just initial thoughts here, just before we get into any of it.
The video was hilarious because it's kind of like some people I see like on Instagram or TikTok now, where it's like you clearly have a drinking problem because you're making yourself do a bunch of drinks every. Oh wow!
Oh, you mean like these people?
Yeah.
Figure we'd do a quick little watch along of this video package here because I thought it was sensational.
Yes, please. Put it
feel free to say pause if you need to stop it.
Okay.
The most prestigious title of its kind.
It's the Holy Grail, man.
Sought by many, but possessed by only one.
It's all about the gold.
The TNA World Drinking Title.
You're a drinking man. If you're a drinking competitor,
all right, let's take a look at this belt for a second. Clearly just the WWE spinner belt with a beer bottle on it, no?
It definitely is. That's got to be what it is. You know what? I live in Nebraska, and somebody absolutely has one of those. And every weekend, him and his buddies drink for it. And I know it happens. I know it does in a barn. It happens in a barn.
Oh man, you got to figure this belt is still getting defended right in your backyard somewhere.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Let's delve more into this.
Have around your waist, and I got it.
The drinking champion.
All right, so. For people listening, they're like interviewing, I guess, aficionados on the drinking championship series or whatever. And who do we got here, Brent?
This is old Pork Chop, and he is the 2002 Southwest Region Division 5A beer pong champion runner-up. So they couldn't afford the real champion, so they got Pork Chop here. The runner-up.
The runner-up. I didn't even know. I was focused on Division 5A. Southwest region, but it's not even the fucking champion of that region.
I do appreciate the very detailed description of what Pork Chop's doing here. I like that. That's good.
Man, but this guy still, he has credibility. He knows what he's talking about. I mean, just look at him.
Pork Chop.
That's a pork chop if I've ever seen one.
It's so important because what higher title can a man have?
It's a big deal. It's really
all right. We got Tony Ponyboy Giovanni, a 3-time New Jersey State Fair Battleship champion.
What the fuck?
I mean, these are the accolades are just plentiful here.
At least beer pong's something to at least be proud of. This guy played fucking Battleship. What do you do? Beat an 8-year-old?
Well, is this Battleship or Battle Shots? Have you ever played Battle Shots?
No, I have not, but I've seen it played. Yes,
you're familiar. Yeah, I'm wondering, did he just literally play Battleship?
Yeah, he's clearly Vince Russo's cousin with a name like that.
Tony Giovanni. It's a fucking made up name.
Forget about it, hey.
Pizza.
They should have made him a hot dog eating champion. I would have liked that better. This guy says hot dog eating champion. Look at this. Look at that hot dog eating face. Look at it.
Oh, that guy's mouth is made for guzzing glizzies.
I'm saying that's what they should have done. 3-time New Jersey State Fair hot dog eating champion. That's what it should have said.
I mean, he just looks like a poorly drawn person. So, all due respect to Ponyboy Giovanni.
If you ask me, like, what does a person who lives on the East Coast look like? That's what I would say he looks like.
All right. Let's settle down here. How dare you?
Really big deal. This is something important that goes on.
What does it take to be the drinking champion? It takes guts.
Dr. in quotation marks, Dr. Stuart Marchetti, self-proclaimed brewmaster. What the hell does that mean? Self-proclaimed? You either are or you aren't. Right? Unless he home brews, I guess.
I mean, anybody, I could self-claim anything. I'm a self-proclaimed figure shaker. It doesn't matter. So
sure. I'll put
maybe
he's
he's a doctor though, so we have to believe him.
Doctor in quotation marks. Yes, you're right. But no, yeah, you might be right about that one.
Determination, sacrifice.
Okay, the zoom. Too much zoom. First of all, just production note. We don't need to get that close to Dr. Stuart Marchetti. Just a thought.
Like, good Lord, I can see his pores. I'm not a
I mean-
dermatologist for crying out loud.
This guy has bodies in his trunk. Look at this guy.
I'm saying though, I absolutely watched a fucking 48 Hours or Dateline, and this guy was the murderer. 100%. 100%. Last week I saw.
Oh, yeah. I missed that one.
And an iron bladder.
Let me tell you that I've been training. It starts early.
Getting at the bar at 7 a.m., as anybody does.
Hello?
But it's closed, naturally.
Training is the key to the championship run. It allows
Most
me to
bars
be
don't have
conditioned to be
zones.
ready for anything. Anything that Storm can throw at me, or any of my competitors can throw at me.
Sitting there for 2 hours, 3 hours in front of the bar.
I'll run with my dog, and
Somebody gives him
I'll
$1.
have, with a hat with the 2 cans with the straws, and I'll be drinking rather than breathing. I'll start out with a quick warm up.
A warm up, okay? Because I was like, why the first thing you do when it opens is play? It's not Pac-Man, some game.
That's Golden Tee, I think. The
Is
golf
it?
game.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
He's warming up for drinking though, which he's the champion. So who am I to say? But I would think you would warm up with drinks. but
Right.
maybe
Well,
not.
if you were the drinking champion, Kyle, how would you warm up? What would you do?
I don't know, man. I'm not even in the 5B division Southwest region. So,
That's a good point.
man.
See that shot? High score. High score again. Then I'll go right to beers. I start sipping the beers. Get me one of everything. Then I sit down. I'll line up 4 or 5 beers, drink them as fast as I can. Time myself. Bam, 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 all the way down the line. Ribs, donut holes or donuts. There's times where I'll stare at
This
the
guy
wall for
lives in
15
my
to
town.
16
I know
hours.
him.
I think it's drinking meditation. I'm a champion.
I think he's very deserving of the title. I mean, he's put his heart and soul into the drinking championship.
My mom and dad couldn't be more proud.
I think that he worked hard for it.
Eric Young, he's the best. He's the people's champion.
James Storm, bring your A game, because this is how I'm living, man. You better be ready for against all odds. 1 drink at a time. 1 drink at a time.
I mean, a great video package. Maybe all time great.
I mean, that was fantastic. I got to tell you, nothing compelled me more or made me more excited for the TNA drinking championship match than that video right there.
I mean, it's obvious. It's very silly, but then the match starts and they're like kicking the shit out of each other. This actually ended up being a really good match. I thought there's like exposed concrete spots where James Storm rips the padding off and gives him like a brutal hip toss on the concrete. And then Eric Young comes back with a suplex on the concrete. They're doing dives to the outside. Pulling out all the stops in the ring. I really enjoyed this one. What did you think about it?
So at first I wasn't sure when they were coming out there, and I legitimately wasn't sure if they were actually going to wrestle each other or if they were going to fucking play Tippy Cup or some shit like that. You know what Tippy Cup is, right?
I don't. Why don't you inform me?
So it's you get like 4 people in a line. You have to drink down your beer, and then you have to put your cup down, but like, so you have to flip it up and make it land on the other side of the cup down.
Okay.
Flip cup, tippy cup. I guess it
Yeah.
depends on where you live. Just like beer pong
Tippy
rules
cup.
change.
You Nebraska. You corn shucking piece of shit. Tippy cup. You know what? I'm gonna start calling it tippy cup though around my friends.
You should, just to confuse everybody. But yeah, no, this is hard hitting. It was really good. There was a lot of good stuff in here. There's like James Storm tries to use leverage for the rope on the pin, but he couldn't get his feet on the ropes, which I thought was funny.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, these are two of like one of the all-time TNA guys if you're going to make a list. So while the whole thing does look like it's going to be silly on the surface, you know, when these guys get in the ring, that it's going to be good. So I thought it was a really good hard-hitting match. Probably, I might venture to say that this might have been my favorite match on the entire show because it was really good.
Dude, I mean, pound for pound, I think I would definitely agree. I mean, there's like no fat to this match. I mean, James Storm is like, I don't really like the word move set, but like James Storm has like a ton of cool moves, like the Eye of the Storm. It's like a spinning crucifix bomb that movie does where it's like a air raid crash, but he ends up like in a face buster of some sort. I forget what he calls it, but it was sick. But then towards the end here, kind of back and forth, Miss Jackie, who's out there with James Storm, gets on the apron, distracts the ref, hands a beer bottle behind it, the ref's back to James Storm. But before Storm can use it, Gore! Rhino comes in, who's been out of action for a while, gets in the ring, turns James Storm inside out with a Gore, and Eric Young makes the pin, gets the 1, 2, 3. What you think about seeing the man beast here?
It's always good to see Rhino. He does a underrated spear because he really puts a lot behind it, and he's a bigger guy, so I think his spear is better than Roman Reigns. You can quote me on that one.
Oh, Roman Reigns or Rhino? Sound off, folks. Call in if you have any issues with that.
You can tweet
Rhino,
me, but I don't have Twitter, so go fuck yourself.
you're a smart one. But Rhino, after the match, gets the mic and he's like, I have a lot to say, but I'm not going to say it here. I'm going to say it on Thursday. I can wait, I guess. That's what Rhino says.
Get ratings.
What do you think he has to say?
I think he's going to be like, look, I've been out for a while and I really haven't been injured. I've been trying to win the beer pong Southwest Division Championship, but I can't beat Pork Chop. I couldn't beat.
He's
Pork
been
Chop
real tied up.
Place. Yep, that's what he's gonna say. That's retirement from TNA wrestling, so he could focus on his beer pong career. And Rhino's gonna leave wrestling.
He's gonna put his boots in the ring and
leave. Yep.
Make his way to the Southwest Division A region.
The only way you're going to beat Pork Chop is if you put your all into it. You can't be a wrestler on the side.
Right. Or if you're the guy that beat him, because Pork Chop was the runner-up. So
that's true. Well, we gotta worry about Pork Chop first, and then we'll worry about Big Timmy T, I think was the winner.
Yeah, 2008. I don't really remember. I'd have to look. But
it had to be on ESPN the Ocho, right?
They do have some, I was just kind of browsing. It was on one of the ESPN channels. There was, what did they call it? It was like plumbing. It was the plumbing championship, I think, where you had it was like a bunch of guys. They each had their own areas and they had to connect the toilet to something, or it was, I don't know, it was strange. But
was T.L. Hopper there?
God damn it, he should have been. He should have been at least the host or a commentator, maybe. God,
he's probably dead, but yeah.
We can only hope. But we move on from that to we're in the impact zone in Orlando, Florida. You might be asking yourself, what the heck? I thought we were just in South Carolina. Well, let me explain it to you. We have a barbed wire match coming up later in the show, and apparently the South Carolina Athletic Commission said, no, we ain't doing that here. You do that bullshit in Florida, that's fine, but you ain't doing that here in South Kakalaki. So they have to do one match off location on this show. And Jim Cornette's here. He's backstage in Orlando. He's explaining it. It's like the barbed wire in the background as he's explaining it. And then Cornette, after he explains the whole situation, he begins to begin selling the match by pulling out a tomato and raking it against the barbed wire that's in the background and, mutilating the tomato to show that it's real barbed wire, you see. So, yeah. What do you think about it? I mean, do you think they used real? I mean, I don't think the match is next, right? I think it's a little bit later, but yeah.
No, it's got one more before that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
can't
do it in South Carolina.
Why would you convince me that? Look what it can do to a tomato. Okay, I can cut that with a butter knife too. What's your point?
Boom, pico de gallo. What do you think of that, folks?
That's what he should have done. He should have proved that barbed wire can make pico de gallo. That's what he should have.
Should have had peppers and onions and been mulling it over.
Then Don West could have showed up and started chucking the TNA blender. Get your TNA blender or your food processor. That would have been good.
Are we at Slap Chop yet in 2008? I think we are, right? We got to be.
Maybe. Sounds about right.
Biggest competitors out there. But before that, we got the women's. Here, we got the Knockout Championship on the line. We got the new champion here. Awesome Kong with Raisha Saeed defending the title against ODB. ODB feels right up your alley, man.
Yeah, I mean, all the time. I mean, I like the rapper ODB, so I'm sure the rest of ODB is good too.
Yeah, a little different, just a little bit.
Just a
But
tiny
yeah,
bit.
ODB out there with their flask and their I don't even know how would you even for somebody who doesn't know who ODB is. I mean, can you just like paint a picture of this lady?
Okay, so imagine like a lady that lives in a trailer park, but she also she lifts weights all day while she watches whatever fucking I don't know what's on daytime TV anymore. The Young and the Restless, and then she can
Yes.
smoke like 6 packs of cigarettes a day, and she can always drink more beer than any dude who thinks she could outdrink her. And yeah, she's the queen of the trailer park. They say that's what I would say is ODB, the queen of the trailer park.
Of the trailer park. She's the trailer park champion. You might not be wrong there. But yeah, ODB is yeah, I mean, she's just kind of like organically gotten over with the crowd. She has like a very unique presence to her, I guess I'll say. She's not my cup of tea, I guess, but these people seem to like her down there in South Carolina. And Awesome Kong, of course, just this big unstoppable force here. New champion, still getting that title over. The title's still pretty new concept here. I mean, it's better than the Tracy Brooks Peyton Banks match, I guess. I thought this was a fine match. Yeah, not a high bar, I guess, but
well, like what we talked about with that match is like that was very what you would see in WWE at that time, and I didn't think that this was so much. I mean, it wasn't to the line of what we get for wrestling now. But I do think it was better than what you would have saw in a WWE ring at that time. And WWE wouldn't have let either one of these ladies wrestle back then because of, they didn't fit their supermodel look that you absolutely had to have back then. And I always heard good things about, TNA's knockout division. And yeah, I mean, like I said, not the best match ever, but for a women's match in 2008, it was pretty good.
Yeah, we're coming off of, I think it was 3 matches between Awesome Kong and Gail Kim, which are like heralded as like some of the best women's matches ever in that company. So they got a lot of momentum behind them. And yeah, this match wasn't as good as like the Gail Kim matches, but to your point, it was better than you'll see on the other channel in WWE. And for 2008, I mean, this is pretty damn good, I would say. This is not 2 divas wrestling each other. That's for sure.
100%.
But yeah, Kong dominates a lot of this match, hits the implant buster, which is basically like, I don't know, an elevated pedigree of sorts. ODB makes her come back, chugs her flask, gets that liquid courage, kind of hits a power slam on Awesome Kong off the second rope, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
But then Raisha Saeed, the new manager of Awesome Kong, gets on the apron, distracts ODB, Kong with a few spinning back fists, and then an awesome bomb for the 1, 2, 3. Awesome Kong retains the title, which I support. I mean, she was sick back in the day. I don't know how much Awesome Kong you've gone back and watched, but she was so, there was nobody like her, especially in 2008. And I thought her matches were fun. She's had such a fun style. So yeah, for the most part, I dug this, I think.
I mean, I've seen like maybe 3 matches from her, and then I remember when she had a very brief run in WWE as Karma, but she wasn't around for very long. I think she only made a couple appearances on TV, and I think they had the Bellas make fun of her weight. I think was the only thing they had her do on TV.
Yeah, it was bizarre. I think she like got pregnant or something, and then that was kind of it for her, unfortunately.
Yeah. But no, after watching this, I should definitely go back and have a look at Son of a match. Like I said, I always heard good things about it, but just never really watched TNA.
Yeah, her and Gail Kim had some killer matches. But yeah, no, pretty good stuff here. I'm not the biggest ODB guy, but someone out there is, and I'm happy for him. So
yeah, lots of people apparently in South Carolina.
I guess. Well, we shift from that to James Mitchell backstage down in Orlando. hyping up the upcoming barbed wire match down there. Now, I don't know if you know anything about this James Mitchell, Abyss, Judas Macias story. I think they kind of covered most of it in the video package.
They're stepbrothers, apparently.
I guess so. It was James Mitchell's been holding this secret, quote unquote, over Abyss for weeks now. Abyss.
Oh, and it wasn't that he killed his parents in a fire? That's not it?
Close. So the mom shot the dad in the back, and the mom went to jail. The dad ended up surviving.
Oh.
This is Abyss's dad and Abyss's mom. But guess who the dad is?
It's James Mitchell.
James Mitchell. He's Abyss's father. My goodness. The secret has been revealed. And I guess because James, he got shot by the mom, but he's still mad at Abyss for kind of, I guess, siding with the mom. But through Abyss's words, it kind of appears that James Mitchell was abusive to both Abyss and the mother. So there's a whole, it's just a lot going on here. And then Judas Macias he just kind of came out of nowhere. I guess he's the adopted son of James Mitchell, therefore making Judas and Abyss stepbrothers of sorts.
Very convoluted situation there, yeah.
And then this.
Did anybody find out any of this information by opening a briefcase? Is what I really need to know.
It was a reverse battle royal.
Yeah. Guy got a briefcase, opened it up, found out James Mitchell was his father. Boom. Bro.
Although I will tell you briefly, because this story wasn't on the show here. So Kazarian is feuding with Black Rain right now. The former Dustin Rhodes. And on Impact, so the story there was because Black Rain has this rat that he always carries with him. And then, because why wouldn't he? It's like in a cage. Kaz at some point stole the rat, painted it white, turned it from black to white, and he just captured it. It was this rat now. And then Black Rain took umbrage to this. So how do we solve this? We have a rat on a pole match.
I fucking knew it was going to end up on a pole match.
Always a pole. Always a pole, bro. So what they did, they had 4 poles, and they had boxes at the top of each pole. One box.
This in WCW. It's the coal miners. It's the San Francisco 49ers match.
Yeah, it's probably very similar. One box had the rat. So if you get the rat, you win. The other 3 boxes had rat traps. So if you stick your hand in there, you're like, oh, there's traps in there.
All right. I know what I'm watching for my show. I need to find that.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
That's
don't know why that wasn't on the pay-per-view. That was pay-per-view worthy, I thought.
I would rewatch that multiple times. I wouldn't rewatch anything else on the show.
I got a link for you if you need it, brother. But that leads us in to another ridiculous match, a barbed wire massacre match. Abyss versus Judas Macias. Again, we are in Orlando here because we can't do this in South Carolina. And I looked it up. It seems like this was the only match that happened in Orlando. I would have guessed they would have done some like dark matches or something to like make it worth coming to the show. Although maybe it was just like a free show. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
But just to set the scene here, there's no ropes, just barbed wires. It's barbed wire taking place of the ropes, but they're kind of like squared off a little bit. The barbed wire is. There's barbed wire weapons ringside. There's a chair wrapped in barbed wire. There's boards with barbed wire on them. It's where do we even begin here? I mean, just looking at this scene. What were your thoughts looking at this?
I don't know. Like, so this sort of thing like really isn't my sort of thing. And this is the second time you made me watch some barbed wire shit, so I'm beginning to think you don't like me. I mean, if you like stuff like this, I suppose it's fine. It was a little bit anticlimactic because it was like, oh, or is he gonna go into the barbed wire? He's in the barbed wire, and I don't know. I could never really get into it. It was really slow paced. I guess maybe it did get better, like maybe the last 5 minutes of it, but for me, I don't know. It was kind of boring, honestly.
Dude, I 100% agree. There's nothing worse than a match being super violent, but also super boring because they're like just mutilating each other for no reason is pretty much what was happening here. And I actually just recently watched the ECW Born to be Wired match between Terry Funk and Sabu, which is like infamous. And I was like watching this, I was like kind of comparing in my head naturally, and it was like the ECW match was not as clean. Like the barbed wire was kind of like lazily strewn around the ring. Like there was no rhyme or reason to it. It just felt like it was just there. Whereas here in TNA, it's like very clean. Like I said, it's like squared off. It's all there's no like sag to it. Like if you hit it, you like bounce off of it almost.
It's like, oh, look at that barbed wire. It's clean. It won't even give you hepatitis.
Right. I need somebody walking out of here with AIDS, or I'm not happy.
Or forget about it.
So, and it's like I think the ECW match did a better job at like building tension, like building to those spots. Whereas here in this match, it was just like, yeah, here's some barbed wire. Yep, boom. How you like that? Yeah. Rake. Oh, here's some blood. Neat. And then it was over. So,
yeah.
I
don't know. I guess I haven't seen Judas Matthias wrestle, but he's fucking Mil Mortis from Lucha Underground, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So maybe he wasn't very far. I don't know how long he was into his career at this point, because to me, he just didn't feel like he had a whole lot. Like he didn't have any charisma to me. I guess he was supposed to be some sort of dark character that I was supposed to be afraid of, but I didn't get that from him at all.
Right.
It just wasn't good.
Yeah, no, I agree. There was a level of intensity here that I thought was missing, especially for a barbed wire match. Like it just felt very off. And the other thing here, so like another monkey wrench here is like this feud has been going on for forever. It started like 6 months ago or so. At some point, Judas got injured, so they had to like pause the story, and then they had to just come back to it. So there was like a level of momentum I think they lost along the way, and now we're at a point here where it's like nobody really even cares, it feels like. And ultimately, it's not really about Abyss versus Judas. It's about Abyss versus James Mitchell. And yeah, James Mitchell at some point in this match, he gets a black hole slam, but I feel like that should have been like the moment. Like I feel like Mitchell should have gone in barbed wire. Like I think that should have been the finish. That should have been the climax. But it felt like just like an afterthought thrown in the middle of this match to me.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. That was actually that would have been the big moment, you know what I mean, where he pushed Mitchell into the barbed wire, but it just didn't happen. Yeah, it was the most boring barbed wire match you'll probably ever see.
Dude, it's this barbed. Look, is it working barbed wire, shoot barbed wire? Who knows? But like they're slicing each other up. So whatever the case is, like it's brutal.
Yeah.
There's fucking Judas has this chair wrapped in barbed wire. Maybe it's a Hulk Hogan chair shot. I mean, it's just dink.
Yeah.
Which makes you think maybe it is real barbed wire. Maybe he doesn't really want to smash him with it. I don't know. But
he's supposed to hate him, so why wouldn't he? It's despised. Your mother tried to shoot my father in the back. I have to hit you hard with this chair. Makes sense, I guess. I don't know.
You would think. At some point, Abyss, they have like a barbed wire board set up in the middle of the ring. Abyss gorilla presses Judas dick first into the barbed wire, which talk about dick blood, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? Hold on.
We got it.
Fuck, my soundboard is working. There's laughs. You guys just can't hear them.
Yeah,
I don't even need it. Any other spots in this match really stick out to you?
No, I mean, not really. I don't know. They almost put the referee into the barbed wire at one point. I remember that.
Right.
I just want to hit the sidewalk slam on the barbed wire board for the win. But yeah, it wasn't nothing really even that memorable from it, to be honest with you. Which is crazy to say because it's a fucking barbed wire match.
Yeah, I mean, it just felt like barbed wire for the sake of barbed wire. And yeah, Judas gets the black hole slam onto the barbed wire board for the win, which sure, I feel like if I was booking this, I would have like, you do that to Judas, put him on the barbed wire, and then put the other barbed wire board on top of him, and then like black hole slam James Mitchell on top of that barbed wire sandwich, and have like Mitchell be like the catalyst for the finish is how I would prefer it. But you know,
if only they had hired you instead of Vince Russo.
I mean, I was sitting there. I was how old was I? I
old.
was 15, no 14, about to turn 15.
Well, and you guys have I think you guys are probably mentally the same age about that point then. So
yeah, perhaps. So yeah, missed opportunity, I guess. I mean, I'm like you. I was watching this match. I was like, it was boring. But then the match ends. It's like there's so much blood on the mat. Like what the hell happened? So it's crazy. A crazy series of events. But we go backstage from that back to South Carolina. Scott Hudson's there with Bobby Roode. Cutting a little promo here. So yeah, let's just keep on coming. So the Booker T. Robert Roode story. Last pay-per-view, Robert Roode accidentally punched Sharmell in the face, sending her into the nether region, just shooting her across the ring with a punch. And broke her jaw. Had to get her jaw wired shut. And Booker, obviously, husband of Sharmell, is not too pleased of this. So he doesn't even show up in the Impact Zone for a few weeks after because he's there in the hospital with his wife. And then on Impact, Robert Roode's cutting these promos like, you should be happy, Booker. Now that her jaw's wired shut, she can't eat anymore, so she won't be fat. I was like, Jesus, dude.
I thought you were gonna. I would have went with. Now you don't have to listen to her talk at least. But
well, he said that too, but it was just a pile of things. It was like, good googly moogly, Bob.
Oh, now you're going and making piles jokes. That's fucking hilarious, man. Fucking ha.
Yeah. So that's pretty much a story. I mean, there's nothing really more to. I did note this promo. It just felt like a good promo because it feels like we're just surrounded by silliness on this show. But it's like, oh, here's a good wrestling promo by Robert Roode. It was kind of refreshing, I thought. I don't know if you had anything.
I mean, Bobby Roode could always cut a good promo. I always thought so.
That was his thing. But that leads us into the match: Robert Roode versus Booker T. Of course, Robert accompanied by Peyton Banks, the aforementioned Peyton Banks that we did the deep dive on earlier for some reason.
Had to.
I didn't really have a ton of notes on this. I thought this was just a really solid match, kind of a lackluster finish, I thought, but I enjoy the work in this match. What did you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, it was supposed to be a fight between two guys who didn't like each other, and they had me believe in that. So, a good worked match, physical. I think he had, Booker T had control, and then, Peyton got involved. I really forgot how good of a wrestler Bobby was because I hadn't seen him wrestle since NXT because they didn't ever do anything with him on the main roster. So, it's funny. I put this in my notes is that for the longest time, I didn't really watch TNA, but I would see clips of it. And I thought Bobby Roode was Rick Rude's son.
Oh, is he not though? I mean,
he absolutely isn't because he's Canadian. So no.
Well, you can, you could crossbreed. I think that's allowed.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but I'm pretty sure. Well, I mean, Rick Rude's from Minnesota, which is basically Canada anyway. So,
sure, yeah, it might as well be, right? Yeah. So there's something there,
maybe. But anyway, so it was a good match, and then like you said, lackluster finish, and then they did like some weird brawling and running away stuff. I'm sure you'll talk about.
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, they just like they're having a match, and then at some point, Robert Roode just runs away. Booker T follows him, and they both get counted out. So double count out. They fight to the back all throughout the backstage area. And I guess Robert had this in mind from the get-go because he had a getaway car prepared with Peyton in the driver's seat. I guess she ran off and got the car at some point during this match. For some reason, Robert Roode, like Grand Theft Auto, rips her out of the driver's seat, tosses her, takes the car, and speeds away. It felt unnecessary.
100% Grand Theft Auto.
He could have just had Peyton drive, unless he doesn't trust a woman to drive.
Well, he tried to get in the backseat, but Booker caught up with him. But then I don't know why he thought pulling her out of the driver's seat and getting in the driver's seat was going to be faster than just jumping in the backseat. But your brain does strange things when Booker T's about to whoop your ass, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, who are we to say? Like, I mean, I personally have not been in that situation. I don't know if you have, but.
No, I've never had Booker T trying to whoop my ass. Nope, not yet.
Well, better knock on some wood there, pal. Hey, sucker. Or whatever.
Tell him bring himself on to Nebraska. I don't think he's going to do that because why would he?
But man, we're back at the Angle locker room, everybody. Everybody's favorite. The saga.
As the world turns with the Angles.
It's these are the days of our lives. And Kurt, as we mentioned, he's dealing with troubles with his wife. His wife has been yelling at him, is mad at him. JB's like, hey, why don't you suck on her pussy? And Kurt's like, yeah, I'll do that. So now we're back here. Kurt has found Karen. And then he tells her of this idea of renewing their vows on Impact this coming Valentine's Day, which was Jeremy Borash's idea, but Kurt takes credit for it. And apparently that's all Karen needed because she instantly is like, oh, I love you. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. So this felt like a very unnecessary, like Karen is mad at him. Kurt figures out how to make her not mad at him. Karen's not mad at him. So it just didn't factor into like the match or anything. I guess it sets up a segment for Impact, but like, I don't know. This is silly.
I think all these people are on drugs, but AJ Styles.
Yeah, no, it's a lot going on. It's a lot. And then he like transitions like in the same segment, like after him and Karen hug and kiss, like she walks away, and then he like turns to the camera and then is like in promo mode, like building up his match with Christian, which is like, this is a lot going on here, dude. But
very, very strange.
Well, we'll get to that in a little bit. Before that, we have one more match before the main event. It is a 6-man tag team street fight. The team of Team 3D and Johnny Devine versus the team of Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. Now, stipulation here, stakes involved. If the Dudleys win, the X Division is done. It's dead and buried. If Jay Lethal and the Guns win, the X Division stays around, and there's also a weight limit imposed on the X Division, which would theoretically keep the Dudleys out of it. It'd be like a whatever, it was like a 240 weight limit or something.
Steiner.
And I mean, so what does he do with the briefcase he has? Who knows?
Long-term booking.
It's all tied together. It's all
the
tied together.
next fucking Impact. He's just gonna give it back to Petey Williams. That's just gonna happen, isn't it?
I think because PD ends up becoming like the protege of Scott, so I would assume like Scott like gives it to him, but who knows?
Yeah.
But yep. By the way, before the match, a very timeless promo by Bubba. He's like, all these kids flipping and flopping. There's something else you said, but it's like it felt like him in his modern day podcast. Like these kids don't know how to get over. They just do their moves. The keyboard warriors talking. It's like, all right, Bubs, enough.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how Kyle did, but we got Bubba Ray on the podcast there for a minute.
Listen,
for a second.
Story, heat. It's more just Vince Russo. It's kind of the same thing.
They're both. It's the same fucking bullshit. Yeah, it's the same thing that every old man says. The damn kids with their music.
Slow down. Tell the story. The moves don't matter, bro. So
yeah,
it's essentially what it is. But we got a street fight here. there were some elements that kind of had me that I didn't love about this, but ultimately, like the action here, I mean, it was a chaotic match, obviously. There was some great, like, the X Division guys, they do like triple planches to the outside or like just like kind of synchronized moves that are kind of silly in a way, but just the way it was shot, how the camera pans out when they all dive to the outside, like there was some good stuff here and all the weapons and whatnot. This is pretty fun. What'd you think about this?
Agreed. It was a fun match. We saw a pile driver given to a blow up doll, which I can always appreciate.
Yeah.
It was really interesting when Bubba Ray was looking like he was going to use the cheese grater across SoCal Val's forehead, which I'm going, no, please don't do that. I've seen enough blood for one day, and I don't need to see that. Please don't let that happen.
Yeah.
Luckily, they didn't. I mean, Jay Lethal was all over this thing. I mean, he was fucking on fire this entire match, especially toward the end. Was my big takeaway was from that they definitely wanted Jay Lethal to come out of this thing as the star because he was literally all over the place.
Yeah. What I meant to go back and watch. What the hell happened to the machine guns? They were just out of the match after after a little bit.
Yeah, it was like they were participating in a triple threat match in WWE, and they were the two guys who take a piss for 20 minutes while the two wrestle. I don't know. It was really weird because at 1 minute, at one time you just never saw him again. It was like, you know what? Jay Lethal's got this. We're fine. We're headed back to the Motor City.
I guess so, man. Because it was 3-on-1 for like the back half of this match. I was like, fucking Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, you guys just like you said, they're probably just taking a nap somewhere.
I don't remember them being murdered mid-match, but maybe they were.
Maybe they're having their way with the doll.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe like, we don't have time for this wrestling match. We got this blow-up doll to deal with.
That could be it. Which, it's a pretty good looking doll, if I had to say so myself.
But it's got a head injury, so that's
how I prefer them. Anyways, we got Jay Lethal 3-on-1, just taking out everybody. A table is set up in the ring. And Jay, with his Macho Man elbow, threw Johnny Devine through the table and gets the win. So he beats, which, like, I don't know. I feel like Bubba and Devon are like the guys like holding the X Division hostage. They have possession of the X Division title belt. They're the guys that hate this style. Like, wouldn't you want like one of them to take the pin in this match? But just another like unsatisfying story finish to me in this one. But also, by the way, the X Division champion right now is Johnny Devine. So like, why would they want the X Division to go away if your boy's the champion?
Well, here's what we're going to do is we're going to put it in a briefcase.
You can't solve everything with briefcases.
Well, okay, fine. What if a pole match? What about that?
All right, now you got me thinking. Now the gears are turning.
It's either a briefcase or a pole. If it's not that, then I don't know what you want from me.
Oh man, is there a rat involved?
Yes, we'll put the rat in the briefcase, of course.
4 briefcases, 3 of them have a rat in it. 1 of them has the X Division title.
That's right.
Tune in on it back, folks.
There we go.
So yeah, it's just but another thing. So Johnny Devine's the champion. This isn't for the belt, by the way. So Johnny Devine, he takes the pin, whatever. And then Bubba, he still has the title. He's holding it high. And then Jay Lethal like planches him after the match and then takes the title and holds it up and celebrates. But hey, Black Machismo, you're not the champion there, fella. Yeah. So, but I guess he was the champion and the Dudleys stole it from him. So maybe it's just tit for tit situation.
So in TNA, you could just, I stole this championship, so now it's mine.
Yeah, dude, like the Dudleys had this title for like months. Like, just when they're in a match, just go out there and take the title and run away. Like, why is this so? It's Bubba Dudley.
Jay Lethal doesn't steal, though. He would never do that.
Right.
Black Machismo, rather.
You'd have to get Repo Man or somebody to.
That's
you
right.
Have to hire him.
You get Barry Darso in here, and we could repo that thing.
Right. Maybe his rates were too high. I don't know what they were
Because
paying him.
he doesn't look like the Dudley Boys aren't making the payments. They're fucking degenerates.
Yeah. No, it's yeah, look at their gear. Yeah, they're clearly not rolling in it.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I guess so now there's a weight limit imposed on the X division. I do have like vague memories of them having like weigh-ins in the ring, Bubba and Devon. I don't really know what comes of it or what I don't know. Feels like there's watching all this chronologically, it feels like it's been forever since there's been just like an X division, like two X division guys wrestling each other for the title. It's always like some like Kevin Nash bullshit or Dudley's bullshit, like, you guys don't know what it is, and it's like this can be fucking
Kind of takes away the
Daniels.
point of the fucking X division in the first place, right? Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, they're talking about it like, oh, the X division's great, and it's like, how about you give us some X division matches then?
What the fuck are we talking about here?
That's 2008 TNA for you. But we progress from that to the main event of the evening. The TNA World Championship on the line. We got the champion, Kurt Angle, defending against Christian Cage with a special enforcer, Samoa Joe. My goodness. So could you like the whole dynamic between Kurt, Christian, Joe? Well, first of all, I guess the Joe stuff first, because that's kind of like an outside thing. So Joe,
Yeah,
we're off the
I was a
heels
bit
off of
confused why he was involved at all. So
I've been watching this shit and I'm confused. Like, so Joe, so we're off the heels off of that like kind of infamous quote unquote shoot promo from Joe, talking about the guys like Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, like they're just here for a paycheck. They're taking time away from the young guys, which is kind of like a real sentiment that a lot of people had back in the day. But then the story becomes then Kevin Nash is like the I don't know, like his manager of sorts. So like Joe and Nash are like cool now, and Nash is like kind of like showing him the way, and he convinces Joe to demand a bigger contract. So they do this whole thing on Impact where they Joe's demanding like he wants to be the highest paid guy in TNA and et cetera at AAB, and then he ends up like not signing it for a while for whatever reason. But then Jim Cornette's like, I forget how he becomes the enforcer. There's like really no reason that he's the enforcer in this match. Other than the fact, I guess, so the last pay-per-view, Kurt and Christian had a match and it had tomfoolery with AJ Styles getting involved. So now we have Joe out there to make sure that we have a clean match. And I don't know. I feel like you could have thrown Joe in some match somewhere, but who am I? But and then like the AJ and Tomko stuff, which we talked about earlier. Now they used to be Christian's boys, but now AJ is Kurt's boy and Tomko's on his own. And you have Joe's. My problem here, like it was a good match, like solid stuff. It's Kurt Angle and Christian Cage, like two of the best to ever do it. It works solid. It's snug. It's smooth. We're doing like, near falls with the finishers, close kickouts. My problem here is it's like a running problem with TNA. It's like, I know nothing is going to happen until we got shenanigans, especially with Joe out there. So it's like, who cares what's happening? Because I know Joe is going to factor into the finish somehow. So until he becomes a factor, like the match isn't ending. So
yeah.
I don't know, but maybe I'm wrong. What'd you think about this one?
No, I think you're right. I mean, it was a well-paced match, and like you said, it's Kurt Angle Christian. It's not a bad match, but I also think if you went back and watched TNA from this time period, or even when so TNA Kurt first came to TNA in what, like 2006, 2007?
Kurt, yeah, at the end of 2006.
So I'm sure him and Christian had some good matches, and I'm sure they were much better than this one. Not that this one was bad. It just, like you said, you were just waiting for the moment for, two or three people to get involved. It's almost like wrestling nowadays where that you're not going to get a finish until you get 5 finishers. So on that first one, you're like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. Second one, oh, well, it doesn't matter. And it's kind of the same thing here. You're just waiting for somebody to interfere. And so it does kind of take away from the match a little bit, but a fine match, but definitely could have been better.
Yeah, no, it was solid. But then the ref bump happens naturally. And then is when I lean over. It's like, all right, now we're getting into it.
Yeah.
Then Joe slides in and becomes the ref. I guess I didn't know he had his reffing license, but I guess if you're the enforcer, you're also the ref.
As long as it's not a barbed wire match, it's fine.
Right. That just throws in a ton of other red tape, and yeah.
Yep.
Christian has an ankle lock on Kurt. Joe gets in there. He's like, Kurt, you want to tap? Kurt's like, nah. And then Kurt ends up like crawling towards the ropes, grabs Karen's hand. Christian pulls him in, and Karen gets brought into the ring, and Joe gives Christian the green light to kick her ass. That's enforcer duties. I'm learning. Kurt Angle tries to save her, but ends up squashing her in the corner. Christian rolls up right after that for a close 2 count. So now it's at this point, it's like, all right, we're cooking. AJ comes out there. He tries to do the same thing he did at the last pay-per-view, which is a phenomenal forearm to the back of the head of Christian. But this time Joe sees him, rips him off the apron, and then they fight into the crowd to the back. So now Joe and AJ are out of the equation. And Kurt Angle grabs a chair, a padded chair, which commentary is like, oh, he's got that heavy chair. Does he?
And he kept trying to hit him with the padded side. I'm like, no, turn it around.
And Don West on commentary is like, oh, he hit him with the metal part of that chair. But like, no, he fucking didn't. So they're trying. I mean,
where'd they get that fucking chair from anyway? That chair had to be fucking ancient.
Right. I think the Killer Bees used that chair back in the day.
For real.
So whatever, the chair is involved. Kurt has the chair. Hits Christian with it a few times, goes to hit him again, but now Tomko is out there. As we recall, Tomko's on his own, but he's also kind of sided with Christian on Impact. He's like, all right, I'm cool with you, Christian. We're cool. We're not like a team, but we're cool. So Tomko comes out and is like, oh, he's going to save the day. He grabs the chair away from Kurt, shoves Kurt down. But then, by God, Tomko turns to Christian, puts him on his shoulders, gives him a torture rack neck breaker of sorts, blasts him, turns on Christian. Kurt Angle makes the pin. Ref is alive. 1, 2, 3. Kurt Angle gets the win with the help of Tomko. My goodness. The Angle Alliance grows. Brent, you got to be on the edge of your seat with this drama.
I really was toward the end. Yeah, no. I was really interested to see what would happen with Tyson Tomko. And I can't wait to see where it goes. I assume it's going to be a feud with Christian.
I guess I'm watching this. I'm immediately, because I was watching this live when it was happening. And I've been going back and watching all this shit with like nostalgia goggles for the most part. It's like, oh, this is fun. This is fun. But now I'm like reliving that feeling in my head of like, oh, what the fuck? Like, why? Like, this is so dumb. It's like Tomko wants to be his own guy and he's been having success. He's been getting like a pretty big push on Impact. He beat Kurt Angle in a singles match on Impact. He's like clearly having success, but now you want to align with the guy? Like, hey, I'm curious. I'm going to tune in this Thursday on Impact to see why. So maybe they got me. Maybe they got me. I don't know.
See, there you go. There you go, bro.
This ratings, bro. They'll never see it coming.
Swerve, bro.
Yeah. It was kind of just a swerve. I mean, it's whatever. It's classic TNA. A good match, weird finish. That's what you pay for. And but yeah, just I guess my main takeaway coming out of that one is like, I guess maybe you haven't watched that much TNA, so maybe not really familiar. I feel like TNA might have fumbled Samoa Joe. Like, I've been watching him in Ring of Honor and even watching him like modern day. Like, he's a badass to this day. And it feels like here he's just a guy in a t-shirt and jeans. He's just Joe. It feels like he could have been used so much better.
it seemed like he was being used as it was more silly to me than someone that I would be afraid of. You know what I mean? And I've never experienced Samoa Joe like that because the entire time I've known Samoa Joe, he's been like an intimidating motherfucker with good stuff on the mic. And everything that I saw from him on this one, he just seemed like like you said, a guy in a shirt and jeans, and that's it. And he's fucking Samoa Joe.
Dude, he's among the best. I do think he ends up winning the world title here, like in a few months. So like we're turning the corner, I guess. But I don't know. Did we need Peyton Banks? Could we have had like a Samoa Joe versus I don't know Shark Boy or something? I don't know. I'm just spitballing.
Anything.
But that brings Against All Odds 08 to a close. Any other thoughts on this show? How was your first or I guess your second kind of TNA show that you watched?
Well, the first one was only like 45 minutes, and some of that was filled up by a fat oily guy, which I love a fat oily guy, so that was fun. But no, it was a decent show. Like there's not really anything, like you said, not really anything on this that I would say, hey, you need to go back and have a look at it. But it was an easy watch. It wasn't like there wasn't anything on it that it was just like, this match feels like it's 4 hours long, even though it isn't. So it's an easy watch, but still not a great show. If I had to give it stars on a 5-star rating, I'd give it probably 2.5.
Yeah, that's fair. Like TNA, like this period is it's not always the best, but it's weirdly always like the most engaging. Like there's always something happening. Like they're always doing something. Sometimes the something is really fucking dumb, but they're always like every match we talked about, there was like a wacky story behind it.
Yeah.
Which
I mean, but if you look at like people always give Vince Russo shit, and I trust me, I give him plenty of shit. But if you look at back in WWE Attitude Era days, it was the same shit. They just had fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock and stuff like that to put on the top, but they still had fucking Mae Young giving birth to a hand and all that weird fucking shit. So it's the same thing. It might not be entertaining to everybody, but there's always something happening, and I'll give that to Vince Russo. He always does have something happening on all the stuff that he does. It might be shit, but it's happening.
Yeah, no, I mean, I dare say maybe modern wrestling needs more Russo type influence. A little more.
Well, apparently, if you watch Juggalo Championship Wrestling on YouTube, you can see it. Apparently,
that's catching fire. A lot of people are watching. I haven't watched it personally. Have you?
No, I have not. It's funny because me and my co-host, the mayor, sometimes we watch like 2000 WCW and we see Big Vito on there a lot. And so I've posted clips of us talking about Big Vito on TikTok, and he now follows us on TikTok and he like comments on our videos. And so that's the only reason why I know anything about Juggalo Championship Wrestling. And I don't foresee myself getting into that, but maybe, who knows?
Hey, it's always an option. It's always maybe next time you're on here, we'll talk some JCW, perhaps.
Quite possibly. You never fucking know. The only way I would probably watch it is if you asked me to watch it for this.
I won't do that to you. But
I appreciate it.
No, it's always a work in progress to make this show. I don't know. I thought I had a segue there. Appreciate you, Brent, once again hopping on the show, talking some wrestling. Where can everybody find you and listen to your delicious tones and all that good stuff?
Obviously, I mean, whatever podcast app you listen to, it's a work in progress. AWI Pod. Subscribe on YouTube. I'm on TikTok. It's just at AWI Pod. I do have a Blue Sky that's at AWI Pod. I really just talk about Arsenal soccer though on there. I don't really talk about wrestling at all. So if you like English Premier League and you're not a Tottenham fan, you can give me a follow on Blue Sky AWI Pod, but definitely follow on TikTok. That's really the only social media I have because social media sucks.
You're telling me, brother. You're telling me. I might hop over there into your soccer world. I'm a big QPR fan. So
yeah, I remember we talked about this before. Yeah, I think they're like they're in one of the lower leagues, right?
Why don't you fight? It's lower it's more like the X division of football.
Yeah, they're in the championship, I think is what it is, right?
Right, man. Yeah. Am I just becoming Scott Steiner? That's unfortunate.
Well, it happens.
It happens to the best of us.
Someday we all just turn into Scott Steiner.
God, I hope not. Once again, thank you to Brentathan for joining the program today. Always a hoot and a nanny with my boy Brent. Go check out the Work in Progress podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as YouTube, all that stuff. Follow all the links in the description for both Brent and myself. Whoo, sometimes I forget to breathe when I'm talking. Almost passed out there. All right. Well, I think that's about all Daddy has for you guys today. I appreciate everybody listening. It's been a pleasure having you, but now you got to get out. So scram, skedaddle, except you stay. Yeah. Yeah. I got the branding iron ready in the back. So you do that while hey, why are you still here? I told you to leave. Get out. All right. Appreciate you. Mwah. I'm hard.
Yeah. And the hardest, talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what hard is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it. Let's get it started. It's the hardest, talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what hard is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it. Let's get it started.